All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Who's Got Clout here on Clout Forum. And today, as we're coming to the end of 2021, it feels like we've been here for years. I want to bring on somebody who has been one of the OGs supporting this platform from the very beginning, done such an amazing job, and that is the amazing mp3, and that is Sly Disciple.
Hey.
How you doing, Sly?
What it do, y'all? Mark, thanks for reaching out to me to come on here, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I've said to so many of our guests, Sly, that it's like, it almost feels like I know you, right? Because we've been around each other so much on the platform. We've been interacting and commenting, and it kind of build this trust for each other on the platform in a way that I forget I've never actually sat and had a long conversation with you. So it's like,
I know.
There you go.
Quickly, the first time I ever heard of you and your account, what you had going on was the throwback to the license plate, the Big Clout license plate, bro. That was so epic, bro. Yeah, you're forever seeing history for that one, bro.
It was crazy. It was like being on a drug, right? Back in the days, like in those first 30 days of DeSo, a couple of months, it was just, I think it was just that vision. It was like, it was driving us all into this kind of fervor. And yeah, no, it's the number plates are staying. Even though we've changed from Big Clout now, the number plates are staying.
Oh yeah, that's OG.
Indeed. Now, just for those that haven't come across you yet, Sly, so on the platform, any app on DeSo, you can find him on mp3. And so you, my friend, are not just an OG on DeSo and an active community supporter and all-around amazing person, but you're also a recording artist, a record producer, songwriter, singer for Outworld Records. And man, I just saw you did a great track with Clay Perry Music on the platform as well. I had no idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you checked that out. Yeah, that was a cool, that was something I actually got kind of in touch with him about like early on, bro. I'm talking like the first week Big Clout kind of kicked off, and he was kind of one of the only other active musicians that was kind of pushing, and he was kind of starting to do his thing. So I just reached out. I was like, "Yo, bro, let's get one in," and it was just a quick, smooth, seamless thing. The song was ready to go a couple months later, and then I kind of went to go strategize the release, and then he kind of did his the Big Clout song kind of came out first, and the hype was building. So I was like, oh, let me just wait until this hype builds up, and then I'll release the song. And then we had a performance performed together in August in San Diego here. So I was like, all right, I'll just drop it, like, because you know how when you go to distribute a song, it takes a couple weeks for it to get distributed to like Spotify and stuff like that. So you kind of got to time it early. And so I kind of missed the window. So I just went ahead and just put it in and was like, whenever it comes out, it comes out. So I think it came out like a day or two after. But yeah, I was stoked on it. I mean, it was kind of easy. I made the beat for that, and I recorded the basic idea and just sent it to him. And he was like, all right, just send it back. He was stoked on it.
Yeah, wicked. No, it was awesome this morning, because it's 9 a.m. here in Perth, Western Australia, and I always do the school run every morning before these interviews. So I drop my boy at school, come back, and then jump in. And this morning was pretty fun, because we jumped in the car and I cranked up your tunes, and I was just listening with my boy on the way. I said, hey, I'm interviewing this guy afterwards. So we're rocking out to your tunes, man. Nice.
Thanks, man.
So hey,
appreciate the support.
No, of course. And before we go deeper into all of that, one thing that I really love hearing, because I realized that it's one of these things where we have built so many relationships in this platform, but then it's like, what's the actual background? It's funny that it doesn't play that much of an important part on the platform, needing to know where someone comes from. But what is your OG, what's your background story, to finding Big Clout? How did you get here? Where did you come from?
Sure. Yeah, well, much like other people, I kind of just randomly heard about it on Clubhouse. It was kind of like a right time, right place type of deal. And for me, it had been a long time coming, because I had been for a few years trying to anticipate what the next like big social media would be. Kind of around the time where Snapchat came out, Snapchat kind of took off. Everybody was using that to send pictures around. And then I was like, okay, what's the next big thing going to be? And then it was TikTok. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of late on that. Not really my format, but, I'll mess with it a little bit. And then boom, Clubhouse came out. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of early on this. Let me see what's up. So messed around with Clubhouse. And then through that's why I found Big Clout at the time, now DeSo. And I think I heard about it in a room early on. And the person that was in there was actually Whale Shark Pro and Raj. So yeah, Whale Shark was in there like talking. Raj was in there and I didn't really know them or anything. I just happened to be in there, just cruising the rooms or whatever, and heard about it. And I was like, all right, let me check it out. And it's funny because I actually knew about it for like about a week. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. There's like a motorcycle right outside. It'll pass in a minute, but I heard about it like for a week, but I didn't join. I just kind of used other people as like a scapegoat to like see what was up with it, because there wasn't a lot of information on it at first.
Yeah.
And so after kind of using other people to kind of walk through the steps of joining and stuff like that, I was like, okay, it's time for me to make an account. And then that's when I made one around, I think it was March 23rd, I joined officially. But I'd been like kind of cruising it since like when it first came out, like March 12th, before they had there was a bit of a rollback and some things that had happened, and when there was the password and everything. So yeah, just random circumstances really. But it's interesting because you don't really hear that dude Whale Shark Pro talk that much, and that was one of the only times I heard him like in a clubhouse room talking, and people were like asking him questions, and he was like saying how he's not going to reveal his identity, and I don't know, the whole thing is kind of mysterious and interesting.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think those early days that really did kind of create that mystique, which, for all the controversy that was created and people, saying should have been this, should have been that, it's one of those things where the human nature is so unpredictable, and the way that we behave, well, actually it's incredibly predictable in unpredictable ways. And it's one of those things where that mystique, that mystery, that controversy, it was exciting times. It really felt like the gold rush in the Wild West, and nobody really knowing what's going on, who's who, what's what. And I know Raj was one of my first experiences with on Clubhouse as well. We went coming into Got Clout, which was really super supportive to see what was happening. Yeah. So that's March. That's right from the beginning. Basically, it's when that password link was flying around, and a lot's happened since then. So how have you found the journey? Like, what have been your highlights? What is it? Why are you still here? Is really the question after all that time.
Great question. I just did want to say quickly, you are one of the best interviewers that I've talked to, just because you are so good at prompting questions and keeping the conversation going. You've always got such a neutral yet positive stance on things. You're so welcoming to everybody who always comes on here. I'm always in here leaving a comment and stuff, being like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. So, I just want to say thanks for what you're doing. But yeah, man. So really appreciate just kind of going back to the password really quick, I wanted to add that the interesting thing with the password in the beginning was you were able to like use DuckDuckGo to get around it. So that's actually how me and a lot of people got around it. Is I never knew the password, but you could just use like that browser to kind of navigate to get into the site. It wasn't quite working well. Yeah, and I think early on, it was the excitement. For me, it was kind of like a game. I never put in any money, and I still haven't put any money into DeSo. I've never bought DeSo. So everything that I have is just allocated through just using and making good trades and selling NFTs and just stuff like that. Nice. So it's been kind of a game. I thought at times during some of the dips to buy, because it was priced well, especially when it was getting down to like $50 and stuff. But I kind of wanted to keep that badge of not like starting with $0, so that I could kind of be an example for anybody new who joins. Because that's kind of the complaint, right? It's like, it's hard to be a new person with no money. And so I kind of wanted to be like a thing to be able to be like, look, I did it. You guys can do it. I'm just a random person that just randomly joined. And it took time, and I'm still not even like some crazy big influencer on here or anything. Not that I want to be, but I just really found that this place was the place where I could be myself. And kind of going back to my earlier story about like looking for the next social media, this was really the one where I was like, okay, I'm early enough. Like, matter of fact, I'm too early, but that's kind of good. Now I can kind of position myself to maybe leverage leverage my followers or spread my message or whatever. And it was really during that whole the Trump thing was going on and like the AMC stuff was going on. It was just a perfect mix of fire and gas, and it just caught my attention. And as soon as I started posting on there, I was getting way more engagement than any of my other social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter combined. And I've been on those platforms building and posting for like a decade, so, and plus on like Facebook. So it just was a no-brainer to me to like keep feeding what's working and what's actually giving me an outlet. Not to mention the fact that I like I'm big on like freedom of speech, and like I didn't like what they did when they kicked like Trump off Twitter. Not that I'm like a Trump fan or anything like that or a supporter, but I just don't think it's cool to blacklist people from social media sites like that and delist them, because you could switch him out with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's the whole controversy about like how there's known terrorists on Twitter, but and it just becomes this big melting pot of like, boom, here's Big Clout. We're the answer to that. Like nobody can kick you out. You can be like blacklisted from nodes, but like there's more nodes popping up. Nobody can stop you from posting. Nobody can like permanently remove your account. So I just thought it was a really cool opportunity to kind of become a part of something that could potentially revolutionize everything. Not to mention the financial aspect of, you know, potential wealth redistribution. And just, you already know, Mark, you know, like the same things that kind of draw you to it, the same things that draw everybody to it, is it's kind of what we've all been looking for as far as a social outlet, but without the whole negative side of media to it.
Absolutely.
At least in my experience.
Absolutely. Man, you summed it up beautifully. And I think it's good to continually have that conversation, because it's what I recognize. Those that have stuck around are the ones that understand that see that. And then you have those that are kind of, you know, almost like tourists to DeSo, right? They pop in, but if they haven't been given the background, they've just found a link with some, you know, like the free money kind of thing. They probably jump in and they're probably going, well, this isn't Facebook. This is what's going on here. It doesn't, you know, but if you understand the bigger vision, which is why I'm a big advocate for keeping that conversation going, it makes sense. And 100%, like when you talk about the you know, with the censorship and the control on these things, it's such a vital thing for the future of our politics, of our economics, of our society working together. Is we need conversation. That's what democracy is all about. And it means being able to listen to uncomfortable opinions and try and work out what's right together, right? And that's kind of the saying for me when it comes to DeSo is, you know, censorship is now a choice, right? Because like you were saying, you as a platform, you as a node can censor me if you don't like what I'm saying. That's fine, because that's your house. You can tell me not to come in your house with dirty boots on. That's okay. But as long as I've got somewhere where I can meet my friends, as long as I've got some public park that I can go in and be able to share. And that just comes down to creating the node, which anyone can do. So absolutely game changing. Sure.
And it becomes a bit of a conflict of interest too. Like, I don't have a problem with platforms having the right to kick people off their platform. It's just, it looks really confusing when you're claiming to be this platform that's providing freedom of speech, and like we're the go-to for like getting connected with people and communities. And it's like, yeah, I get, you know, you disagree with what this person's saying. I mean, they could even be straight up lying about stuff, but that happens all the time on those sites. And it just seems very targeted and politicized. And I just got tired of that. I mean, it got to the point where, you know, it was so bad, like on Instagram, I just unfollowed literally everybody, and I don't follow anybody because I just didn't want anything in my feed like that. Because it was just constant negativity and like, you know, call to actions of like weirdo political schemes and spectrum. So I just was like, nah, I'm just gonna align with this thing that is building towards something that's kind of a flat opportunity for everybody, really. Not you know, because that's the thing, even with like Twitter and Instagram, is like a lot of the major influencers, they've had that for a long time too. So it's kind of like a double entendre, because I think with the low amount of users that are on DeSo right now, it's easier to gain notoriety because the engagement's more concentrated. There's more people within the community that are like predominant that you can kind of just get integrated with and chop it up with. Where, you know, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram is kind of this vast sea of people that are already established and already kind of know the system, know the tricks.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine joining social media for like never having one, you know?
Absolutely, man. And I think people forget that, right? Like people forget, because most people have kind of been, you know, they've got onto Facebook or something. They probably started with like MySpace back in the day. They probably started with these other platforms and over time. And so if someone joins like Facebook brand new right now today, for example, they're going to have friends already, right? They're going to have contacts being recommended to them. They're going to have lots of people in their community somewhere is almost guaranteed to be on one of these platforms. So when they onboard those legacy platforms, they've already got a community, right? There's already people they can connect with. And to be honest, man, my time on Facebook, like by the time I got to the end, I realized of all the value I'd put onto that platform, unless you're paying them to show it to the people that you want to see it, it just gets lost in everything else. And it was one of those things where you really see that I think people forget when they come to DeSo, when they come to trying out these new apps, they forget that when you join a complete new place, you still need to meet people. You need to build your community. You need to engage. And so how have you found that engagement side of things? What are some of do you have any like tips and tricks you can share with new users right now who might be watching this?
Yeah, I've been kind of treating it like a social experiment too. I mean, when I first joined, my thing was like, I was real skeptical about the site. So I kind of just was like, how can I quickly break this or like, manipulate this or like, like I just quickly, not for nefarious reasons, but just to like really see if it is what it said it would, if it could handle a stress test of like people really trying to game it and do stuff. Because I'm like, dude, there's millions of dollars in here. Like if I can just mess around and allocate that to myself, like I don't know if this thing's gonna work. If I could just do some weirdo stuff. And it turns out it's solid. The code's solid. Everything works the way it's supposed to for the most part. Yeah, there's been a couple bumps and stuff, but as far as security, I think it's higher than anything. I mean, I was kind of going back and forth with somebody on Twitter about this, about how encrypted DMs are a no-brainer. I feel like that's kind of one of the least talked about subjects for Big Clout and DeSo. But I think that's such a huge step. And, maybe they're not the first people to ever encrypt DMs, but just to make that such a predominant feature early on was huge because, I don't know about you, but I don't want Twitter employees reading my DMs or having access to them because I keep
absolutely
personal stuff in there, Sometimes I like send myself stuff or sometimes I, talk about personal things that, maybe it's not life-threatening, but I don't want people to have access to that, nor do I think there's a real reason for them to have access to my direct messages. And I love the fact that on DeSo, it's like only the recipient and between the recipients can see it because they're the ones that have the private key. And of course, people could still like screenshot DMs and share them, but for the most part, it just kind of takes away that element of like, oh, I got hacked and they got my DM and stuff like that,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, it's one of those things where one of the few little thorns in my side when it comes to social media is that I still use WhatsApp because as much as Facebook now own WhatsApp, to me, WhatsApp has been one of the most fluid ways of communicating and messaging. The way they've set it up, it's just intuitive and easy from my experience anyway. And that's something I'm super excited about is seeing who's going to take on messaging, and who's going to take, I think, and who's going to be able to make what's already available. Like you say, they've started with the most important thing, which is the encryption. And now when we can get an app, something like WhatsApp for DeSo, like that's going to be unreal.
Yeah. I think it's coming. I think people are working on it. I think there's a lot of people working that aren't necessarily talking about what they're working on. And there's other people who are. But I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes out relatively soon, if not by like CloutFeed, if not done by Diamond, if not done by one of these already predominant players, because that would really drive a lot of use to that, right? Like if you could create groups and things like that. Because I'm not like a big WhatsApp user myself, but I do use it to keep in contact with certain people who are from like the Eastern Hemisphere and stuff like that, because it's a lot more used and it kind of caught on earlier in the Eastern Hemisphere. So I have friends I talk to like from France or like France is big. Like almost every French person I've met is on WhatsApp. I don't know if you find that to be true.
I just remembered as you were saying this that I've heard lots that America isn't so big on WhatsApp. And it's so funny because here in Australia, obviously we're tied in with Asia and everything else around us, and Bali and the rest of us spend a lot of time. It's WhatsApp is the kind of knee-jerk reaction to the easiest way. Yeah. Whereas in America, it's so
cool.
different.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
So what do you use over there?
Different. People, I think people just use like Discord or like Telegram or like, I don't know. I'm kind of new to the whole thing. Like I just started using Discord like probably right before I joined the Got Clout, and I wasn't really using Telegram either. So to be honest, I wasn't really doing the whole, I'm new to it. I never use like Slack or anything like that these guys use. So to me, it's all new. I definitely heard of Telegram before. It's not like people don't use it. It's just not like as predominant as it is over there. But people definitely still use it though, because there is a lot of people from other places here. So it kind of makes it like if you're working with people from Australia or France or somewhere that's their main thing, you got to kind of accommodate for them. So it's still pretty popular. But going back to your earlier thing about the tricks and tips and stuff, I never told this story. And I kind of wanted to say it really quickly. It's about how I actually was able to get the most reclouded post on DeSo, and I still have that title low key. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
tell me the
Technically,
story.
if you look it up, yeah, if you go on Cloud Vista, you can look it up, or whatever type of search you want to look. But just look up like most reclouded posts. I think I have like almost 3,500 or 4,000 reposts, and
Whoa.
basically, yeah, yeah, it's by like a lot. I'm winning by like a lot. And basically, how I did that was I kind of it was like a timing type of thing too. So I approached it as like a study, and I went and I researched who had the most reposts on DeSo, and I basically like examined like the top 3 posts and like really studied why they got that engagement and like what about it took off, and I settled on one of High Key's early posts, and their post was anybody who buys this or anybody who reposts this will buy $10 worth of your coin, and of course that like blew up, right? But I noticed that the mistake that they made was that they put "will buy $10 of your coin" because, and there wasn't any way to like edit posts or anything back then. So my point is,
Oh,
so many people reposted it that they didn't have enough money to like actually go through with it and like buy everybody. Because if there's like 1,000 or 2,000 reposts, that's $20,000. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Or maybe my math's wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's $20,000. But yeah, they just they weren't able to go through with it. So a bunch of people like in the comments were like, "Oh, you never," like 3 months later being like, "Oh, you're still doing this." So I noticed, I was like, all right, what if I just tweak it and change it to anybody who reposts this, I'll buy your coin. So like not specifying an amount. Um,
Mm.
and then boom, it caught fire. I just changed like a little thing that they put, and I was able to follow through on that because of course you're gonna have people who are trying to game it and like reposting from 3 other bot accounts or like things like
Yeah.
that. So Sketchy's accounts, I still to this day I've bought everybody's coin I said I would. I bought over 1,000 coins, but ones that are like sketchy, I'll buy like 10 cents or like 15 cents. Or if they
Yeah.
have like a founder reward that's like 50%, then I'll still buy it, but I'll buy like 10 cents. Accounts that are more legitimate, because you got to think of it this way too. It's an investing strategy as well, because not only am I gaming the system and getting people to repost this thing, but I'm also able to invest in new people because this is getting spread everywhere by the repost chain, and new people are seeing it and they need DeSo. So it's like, okay, I buy $1 of their coin. Their coin was only $5. I buy 1,000 of those. Later, but even if one of them works out and is a successful user, that pretty much pays for all the other ones. So I
Yeah.
diversified that way, and I still own I think over 1,000 creator coins that in
Phew.
different amounts, whether it's like $1 or 50 cents or $10 or something. But
Yeah.
and I think Paul Burke's working on a thing where he's going to release like a diamond duster where you can go through and sell diamonds and sell coins that are inactive and stuff like that. So I'm stoked on that because I got a repertoire of like 30-cent coins and stuff in my wallet from just old rugs, like accounts that left and rugged me, and I only had like $1, so now I have like a cent in them.
And then
But
back in the
yeah,
days
and
remember when we used to give diamonds, we gave our creator coin. It wasn't
right,
DeSo in the beginning, right? So there's all these like
yeah.
little tips of people's creator coins everywhere. And by the way, man, before
Even
we go
before
forward,
then,
Sly, Paul Burke
but
is actually watching. He commented in the YouTube chat. So I've been meaning to
oh,
say
sick!
he's waved and said
Heck
hello.
yeah,
So cheers, Paul, for
heck
joining
yeah.
us. There you go. You got your shout
What
out
up,
without even
Paul?
knowing.
Yeah, Paul's one of my DeSo heroes, man. I love that guy. He's from very early on was a recognizable character in the developer section of it, and I kind of just gravitated towards him and Tyne and just talked to them and got cool with them, and they helped me a lot. Paul's helped me a lot early on with some of my projects and just giving me general advice and direction. He's a real busy guy nowadays, but it was cool to see that whole change with Paul because he kind of came from, like developing, and I don't know his whole story, but just from what I've seen with the interview with you and stuff like that, he came from this background of making like apps for Androids and stuff like that. And he just kind of like was like, huh, what's up with this thing, and like poked fun at it for a while. And then he was like, oh, wait, this is like, I can do some stuff with this. And then just started cranking out, banger after banger with all the stuff that he's been doing with Pulse and everything else. So yeah, I use all his products. I use the extension, which is no longer, I think, going to be an extension. I think it's going to be a node or something like that. I think I saw. So I'm
Right.
Team Paul all the way.
Yeah.
I think what he's doing is great. I think what Tyne's doing is great. So yeah.
it's amazing watching how, and again, this is, I'm all for decentralization and saying, I think we need to evolve as organically as possible, but that involves technology, et cetera, right? But rather than mentally trying to force our way forwards, which, when power gets centralized, then of course people think I know what's best. And what I'm loving
Right.
about even with what you're sharing, Sly, is like, you're testing the system, right? And some people say, "Oh, don't you shouldn't be, you should," all this kind of attitude that can come. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
when you're working on a pirate ship in an open sea in this decentralized world, you kind of want people to test. You want to test this thing's
Yeah.
going to handle a bit of rough seas, and because they're coming. And the last thing you want is to just talk all positive and fill the place up and just be as idealistic as possible, and then not catch the flaws. So it's beautiful seeing people like yourself testing it, seeing how it works, and then demonstrating and sharing and talking about it. But then you also have the other side, which is Paul Burke. How do you say that name?
I said TJ for the longest time. Just so, I don't know if he wants me to say his real name because I've talked to him a lot. But
yeah, we'll keep it to that.
I think it's pronounced Tyne, but I've been saying TJ. Yeah,
I'm just going to call you
T
Tyne.
I do call him T a lot too. So
yeah. So these characters are almost like
T. So
there you go. We cover it with T.
Yeah.
So, but this is the thing, right? You've got people like yourself and the others, and I like to think of myself as a poet and a pirate. Like we're out here just to test it and to see what happens and to just wake the human spirit up and see how it goes here. And then we've got the Pauls, the Tynes, and all these other characters, the Hunter Paulsons and everyone else that are really working on the solutions intensely. They're innovating and they're seeing what happens when we do what we do, and then they're responding to that, going, and what was the challenge? What made it resistance? What was hard there? And it's been amazing, like watching the development roll out, like Nada's talked about, is the rollouts are rapid, so fast.
Yeah. And just one quick note on that. Recently, I was able to talk with Nina a little bit back and forth in DMs, and Lazy Nina, and she was telling me how she agrees that one of the hardest parts right now was the lack of documentation for a lot of the implementation, especially with like derived keys and identity. And what that's kind of led to is a lot of these developers kind of reinventing the wheel over and over again. That's kind of been like the consensus of like, because if I figure out derived keys, it's like, in this open source system, that shouldn't solve it for everybody. There should be a quick little write up about how I did that. There should be resources for that. But you don't really see that. You see all these different projects and entities solving these problems and providing solutions and applications, but there's not a whole lot of documentation for other people to look at. And it's not like it's their obligation or their fault, but that would be so helpful to have that documentation available. Because like with my project Name Trade, we went to go integrate derived keys for it, and there was literally not any documentation other than the fact mentioned that you can use derived. Like it was kind of like there's derived keys. It wasn't like this is how you integrate it, this is how you do it. You just kind of had to figure it out. But we did figure it out, and we're actually, I believe, the second project to ever implement derived keys after CloutFeed. We almost got it at the same time they did, but they got it a little bit faster than us. And then we were able to actually kind of look at CloutFeed's implementation and figure it out. But yeah, so basically, Name Trade is a project that I've been working on, kind of going back to your earlier thing about what's kept me around. I've been working on this project since I think May or April. And it's basically a service for trading usernames for DeSo. Early on, I saw the gold rush for names and things like that, and people were claiming on these names. And I just knew that there was going to be a strong need for a secondary market eventually. And the kind of what was in place isn't really workable. Like it's kind of okay if you want to. Yeah. So yeah, I just saw there was a comment. Yeah, it is backed by Designsta and Tyne. So just to kind of go into that, Designstas are kind of early investors and believers in it, and they've kind of helped a lot, like finance it by just investing and just believing in it and helping push it. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I mean, literally, I've been working on this thing for months and months, but we're about ready to go. I'm actually at the coffee shop right now with my buddy that I met from church, actually, that's helping me like develop it. But we had to completely do everything ourselves. Yeah, because we're not just building like a place to like sell the names and stuff like that. There was actually a serious problem, not a problem, but like a blockade that we had to solve that really nobody was able to solve. And that's how to automate and safely transfer usernames between users, because unless you trust somebody, I mean, there's no guarantee that you send them money, or it's exactly like trying to transfer money to somebody like Whoop or something. You know what I'm saying? There's no automated built-in thing for that. The only code that's in the protocol is the I think it's the identity swap, and that's only for admins, and they use that for like when a celebrity joins, or when there's like a nefarious imposter of like a celebrity or something like that. They'll switch the usernames, because you got to consider the usernames themselves. Like if you buy mp3, technically I could switch my username at any time, right? So it's not like you own mp3 coin, even though that's how we always state it, and that is kind of how it is. Usernames can switch any time, public keys can't switch, right? So there's this whole concept of like, that's kind of how it works out, is the usernames are technically not like locked to an account, but we kind of use that as the workaround for it. And at first I was doing this like kind of Jimmy rig system of like trying to like not use people's, like nobody would give me the seed phrase, but what I would do is I would create like I don't want to talk too much on it, because there are people who have tried to like basically hijack my idea and like launch their own thing, and like they did it like half-assed. I'm not gonna say who it was, but it was a pretty predominant character on DeSo. But basically I was using like secondary accounts to like switch the name to a secondary account, and then give that person like when they bought the name, I would give them the seed phrase, and then they would be able to log into the account and then change the username to their other account. But that still wasn't good enough, because I was like, it's not automated, it's janky, there's all these moving parts of like people needing to do things. So we cracked down. I got help from Time. Early on, Time was like a huge helper, and really like, he kind of, joined the team, and like really spent a lot of hours in Discord, like kind of going through like, okay, how to approach this? How can we actually do this? Like, is this even possible? And we hit a bunch of roadblocks. It was like, I don't know if this is even going to be possible. Like, we're running into bumps with the codes and stuff like that. And then we kind of had it almost figured out. And like, then something happened, and we were like Time was about ready to give up, because he was just like, look, dude, I'm busy, like all this sort of stuff. I was like, all right, I'm going to see it through. And then boom, that's like right when derived keys came out. And it was like perfect timing, because long story short, derived keys really made it easy it really solved a lot of the friction that was going to be part of our run through of how it's going to work. And so now we have it fully implemented. I already have it ready to go. Like I've already used it to automate the trading of names. Literally, dude, it's so sick,
Fantastic.
bro. So yeah, I'll describe it a little bit. It's probably going to come out here like this week. We're just finishing up some of the we're just putting up the site and like doing a little final touches on it. We've been working on it so long, I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to just rush it. But to be honest, it is going to provide a service that has never been done before ever by anybody in the world, actually. So that's kind of cool.
Fantastic.
That's so basically
awesome,
how it'll work is, it's a website that you'll go to, and you'll be able to sign in with through identity. So you're never touching our site with your seed or anything like that. And you're actually not even going to use seed anymore with Drive. You just make a derived account through the DeSo identity Drive. And in its simplest form, it kind of operates kind of like a Craigslist or an eBay, where you just like go on our website. Anybody can go on there, and it's all automated. Like there's no admin like in between. Like you as a person, you just go on the site, click one button, log in with the account you want to sell. It'll list the name right on our site. And all else you have to do is just enter how much DeSo you want to sell it for. And then you just list it, and it automatically lists on our site and displays. Anybody can go list it, but you have to actually have the ability to log in the account to prove that you own the name you're trying to sell. So that kind of like cuts down on anybody just like listing random names. But anybody could just go on there and just list it, and we don't even charge you to list it. You could just list it for free. And
Fantastic.
Buyers as well. You literally just go on there. There's a buy button. Click buy. Boom. The money automates, gets sent to the sender. The transfer of the names happens all automatically on the code, and the name shows up, and it gets switched to the account that you log into through the buying mechanism. And the buyers don't pay any fees. The only fees that we charge is for the seller when it actually sells. So we're just charging for success. So you can list a name for free. It can sit there for a year. We're not going to tax you to have it on there. But then the second it sells,
that's awesome.
You sell it for, we charge a 10% fee. So you sell it for one DeSo, we're only taking 10% of that. and it just comes out automatically, and then you get your name and the money gets to the person. Everybody's happy. And I know there's a huge call for it. Recently, DR Mesh, you know, he bought that Links username. Remember, he didn't buy it, but he posted how he wanted to buy the names for like 10K each, bro. So that's what I'm saying is there's going to be this, you know, when inevitably mass adoption happens and a bunch of people come, the username is going to be valuable. And here's why, without going on a huge rant. They're linked straight to your wallet. They represent who you are on the platform, and that's how people find you. All three of those things are the most important aspects of it, right? So and I just think that it's...
And there's that aspect, right, Sly, that whereas, you know, one thing is like you get a username on Facebook or you get a username on Twitter. Here we're talking about, well, hang on, that username is across everything. So it means it's going to get a lot harder to get the name you want.
Exactly. And we also have, you know, there's people who have hundreds of names ready. But, you know, for me, I think the next step too is I'm going to be incorporating bundles with like domain names. So you can buy a username that also comes with a registered domain name that matches it. So I think that's going to be really big. And a lot of people are going to want to do that because I know there's a lot of people that moved in early on domains like DeSo whatever, or, you know, artdeso.com. Like a lot of people have those. And it's so easy that it's literally just a click or two and it's done. So like I said, that's probably going to come out soon. I haven't really been talking about it because I just don't want to be one of those people who just kept like promising something and like leading people on about it. So I literally was just like, look, the next time I post, it's on. And I just left it at that, and it chilled for about a month and didn't really move around, and I was happy with that. And I just kind of slowly bought the coin up, and we'll probably, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward with a beta launch for it, probably within the week. It's going to allow people to kind of go on there and test it. And the cool thing about it is the site is password protected. So it'll be similar to the launch of Got Clout, how you needed the password to go on there and like test it. So yeah, I wanted to kind of do that just to mitigate how many people use it right away, just to kind of stress test it and see if it's all copacetic. And then once that's open, we're just going to open the floodgates and let people use it. And possibly eventually in the future, you know, once we can allocate some money from it and stuff like that, I'm looking to possibly open source it and just give it away to the community and possibly allow people to just integrate it and use it. Because it's such a powerful tool. And consider this, like, even if you don't want to sell or buy a name, like we're also going to have a service where you can just use it to transfer a name. You know, you don't have to like sell it. You can just I think it's going to be really important. So I'm stoked. I've been working on it for so long, and I'm hyped about it, bro. So thanks for letting me come here and talk about it too.
No, Sly, man, thank you. Thank you for coming on and telling us. Like, this is a really functional tool. This is something that's going to be, it is a game changer. And these are the fundamental mechanics that are going to need to get in place for us to be able to handle the challenges that are coming ahead. And so really appreciate you sharing, man. That's exciting. Every week that passes is like, there's just more and more that just keeps making this feel more possible, right? Whereas other platforms, you get that boost in the beginning and then you get disappointed.
Exactly. You see that meme where it's like a day off. So it's like being on that interstellar water planet, where when you're on the planet, it's like 300 years for every minute or something. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's like being 5 minutes away from DeSo.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I'm just recognizing the time, my man. I've got to hand you over to Alex because Alex always has some good questions and the rest. So also do a shout out to Ken Stewart who's joined us live, and anyone else watching the live stream and the replay. Please do pop comments, let us know. So I'm going to hand you to Alex. He's going to have a few questions for you, and then I'll finish up with you afterwards. How's that sound?
This is my favorite part of the interviews that I watch when Alex takes over.
Sweet. You hear that,
Alex? Not that I don't love talking to you. It's like he comes in like the good cop, bad cop, and he's like, all right, guys, let's get really down.
The bad guy is in the room.
He's here.
Alex, good to talk to you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And first of all, I would like to ask, it seems that we caught you in the middle of something. Where are you? How was your day? Did you save the planet?
Yeah, it was good. We're almost Captain Planet level. We're just over here in a coffee shop. You know, I met with my friend right now who's actually working on finishing up the name trade site right now. So as I conduct this interview, so it's kind of like a little 2-for-1 for me. So yeah, I hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience with the sound and stuff. I think it's quieted down a little bit now, but Yeah, I'm just here in beautiful Oceanside, California, at a cafe. I had some coffee, and I'm about half a mile from the beach. I was chilling, watching some waves earlier. So yeah, life's real hard right now.
Awesome, man. Well, really glad to hear it. But you missed the one part about saving the planet. Did you manage to do this?
Well, we're trying to crank up the mining rigs, bro. We're trying to get her to where she needs to get as soon as possible.
I see. And speaking about the saving the planet, if you were the character of comics, what superpower would you want to possess?
I thought about that one a lot. I think the initial one is like flying, but then if I thought about it, I think teleporting is better because it's kind of like flying except better. Because you could just like continually teleport in front of yourself to fly if you wanted to. But I think that'd be sick. Yeah.
But if you miss, you can turn out in The Rock or something like this.
You ever seen the movie Jumper, where the guy has like all the spots in the world that he goes to? Yeah, it would be like that up on the Sphinx with like a lawn chair and stuff.
Yeah. Awesome answer, man. Thank you. How do you spend your evening when you have some free time? Do you like watching series, movies? Did you watch, for example, King Richard?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've been real obsessed with chess lately, bro. Mostly in my free time, I just play chess. Like it's a bad habit. I just run chess all night long until I fall asleep. I've just really been studying it, and it's kind of like a hobby of mine. It's not really like related to anything, but not everything in life has to be, right? Like you can have your stuff that just you like, and it's kind of special to you. So yeah, that's what I do. I pretty much play chess. Right now, I'm rated like a 1200. I lost some rating because I was like 1300, but yeah, I'm trying to speed run grandmaster.
Yeah, when I saw your bio that you provided to us, you said that you're like playing chess, and it just struck me because I didn't think that I would find someone on DeSo playing chess, because it's more about about this side of intelligence and so on and so forth. And just sharing with you that I'm like a guy who had an opportunity, for example, to talk with Joel Lotier. You may not know him, but he was a coach of how was his surname? So it is a Frenchman who won the chess crown in the young age. I mean, in the league. Yeah.
Send me some info on that, Alex, after we get off. Send it to me on DeSo. I'd love to look at it.
Yeah, you can check it in Wikipedia.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. I've just been researching. Okay, cool, Joel. Yeah, I've just been researching all the OG chess players and just learning their tactics and stuff. It's just really fun for me, and I kind of see everything as chess now. So it's just like certain things are high speed chess, and you just got to make critical decisions really fast and deal with serious repercussions. You know. I actually started a chess club early on in Big Clout. It kind of took off low key, but it's kind of dead now. But I'm thinking about bringing it back, just because, like you said, it is such a niche thing. It's like, just on this. But that's kind of what made it fun, was like, even if it's just a few people, that's how you build friends and stuff like that. And I've got a lot of friends. I actually play. I don't know if he wants me to say. I play a really predominant person on DeSo all the time. I've been playing him for months now. We just play back to back to back all the time. And I'm playing him right now. If he watches this, he'll see it. But I think I finally got him this game. He's beat me like 4 times in a row, but I think I got him this time. So I'm pretty stoked on that. He asked me not to say who he was, though. I guess he didn't want me to say, like, so people wouldn't like bug him about it or something. But yeah, he's good though.
Man, that's just very amazing that this type of guy like you is on DeSo and will promote the chess culture on here as well. I think it will give the platform +1 in the reputation. Speaking about the movies, my question was about do you enjoy watching series or movies? And as far as I know, you don't have time for that because you're building and you're more like a chess guy. But one thing I would recommend you to watch is King Richard, because first of all, it's an amazing movie featuring Will Smith and Tony Goldwyn, and Tony Goldwyn plays Paul Cohen. Paul Cohen is the tennis coach of Serena and Venus Williams.
Oh, Serena Williams. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and he's the dad of Dr. Cat Cohen, who is on the platform.
Wait, oh, really?
Yes.
That's pretty funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. You said King Richard?
Yeah. She shared this info with us when we were doing the interview with her as well, and I was just blown up. I know.
Word. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out, bro. I definitely like good shows and stuff, but my thing is like I don't watch anything like movies or TV really, unless it's like recommended to me by somebody I trust. So like you recommending this to me right now, I'm gonna go watch it because you recommended it. But if you hadn't recommended it, I probably would have never checked it out. Just because I watch a lot of stuff sometimes and I end up not liking it, so I'm just like, nope. I'm only gonna watch stuff that is off a strong recommendation.
I see. Yeah, it's just amazing to share your thoughts and emotions about the film with Dr. Cat Hogan, and this is why I'm bringing this topic up, so we can share our love with her about the movie. I think it will be
Okay, word.
nice for her.
I'm gonna check it out definitely 100%. I'll probably go home and watch it after this.
Yeah.
What's it available on, bro?
It should be on theaters now. It's not available. It shouldn't be available on online platforms.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go see it.
Yeah. So another question. What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Another question about your leisure time is: are you a gamer? Do you like play games? I mean, chess.
I used to play like RuneScape in like middle school and stuff like that. You know what that is, RuneScape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play that game a long time ago. But to be honest, I don't really play video games anymore. I kind of just realized that they're a waste of time and I don't make any money from them. People who like Twitch stream and make money from it are super smart though. But I like to play games every now and then. I kind of get burnt out fast though. So unless I'm playing with like a friend or something like that. But pretty much for the game category, I just play chess. It's like my game of entertainment pretty much. Yeah. And then just live on DeSo and yeah, between those things and I go to church and stuff like that. That pretty much fills up my schedule, and with the music too. So
yeah, just I want to clarify just one thing. One thing when you're playing the game the whole day and you are doing nothing, and the other thing when you had a hard day and you just need to switch your brain off and do something. And some choose just play games. It doesn't mean that he wants to make money from it or something like this.
Oh, of course.
To relax.
No, yeah.
Someone
I more so just found.
Yeah, someone can choose to play chess. I mean, someone can choose to watch movie or something like this. Someone can go play games. That's why.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. I'm not saying, I didn't mean that like towards anybody else. I just meant for myself. I found myself like I was playing games too much, and then I was like broke and didn't really have anything going on for myself. So I think it's just like I love games and stuff, but I think just for this time in my life right now, I've kind of weaned off from that sort of stuff and played it. I didn't mean it like as in, anybody who does that is not making money or anything like that, because there's nothing wrong with coming home after a hard day and playing some games. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm some like workhorse, like all I do is work. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely come home after a hard day work and like watch some YouTube videos or like just chill out and do stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely have time where I do stuff like that. I have a couple little YouTubers that I like to watch, or sometimes I'll watch like tutorial videos for my video software and stuff like that, or my audio software.
Awesome. So I'd like to talk with you about the food. It seems that you like dark hot coffee with Italian pizza for the breakfast. Am I right?
I do. Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah, I'm really.
For a while,
What do you like in food, in general?
The thing with me and food is I like everything. My parents kind of raised me as like I don't know if you've ever heard of a no thank you portion, but it's basically when you're at the table with your family and they're like, do you want some of this? And then you're like, no. And then they're like, okay, here. And then they still put some on your plate. That's called a no thank you portion. So they kind of made me try everything, and I'm actually thankful for that because now, as an adult, I'm always open to trying things, like especially new things. I kind of have a philosophy of like I'll try anything once, you know, even if it's like some crazy weird food that I don't really want to try, I'll still give it a shot at least once. That way, I'll know if I like it or not. And to be honest, I haven't really eaten anything in my life ever that I haven't liked. There's things that I like more than other things, but there's nothing that I wouldn't eat or that I don't think is good. I have a pretty broad spectrum of taste.
Yeah. It seems to me you haven't gone to China yet.
I haven't what?
You haven't gone to China yet.
I haven't gone to China yet. No. I need to, or what?
Try the food, local food. I mean, there is the whole culture about the food in China when it's called food streets, and you can find this kind of food just on these streets, and you won't find it anywhere else in other cities or something like this. So this is a specific region, specific city, and specific street where you can find this type of food. I was in China for 1 year learning Chinese, and
Really?
of course, yeah. That's why that you always can find the food that you want. Like,
Alex, how did you like living there, bro? You liked it a lot, or what?
you mean China?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like China a lot and Chinese culture because I was studying Chinese and their culture since 2nd grade. And yeah, for sure, I was.
I do too. Yeah, Chinese culture and Asian culture in general, they have such history, and their art is so vibrant and unique. And of course, the food is, you know, ridiculously good. I do have to say, probably authentic Chinese food is probably one of my favorite types of food. Next to probably, I really do like authentic Mexican food as well. And I do live in San Diego, so I do get a good supply of that. But yeah, you're right. Every now and then, like around here, there are some authentic Chinese places where the people are, the owners of the store are actually from China, and they cook it like home cooked style meals. Those are so bomb. But I'm sure it doesn't even compare even to the areas in China in which you've tried. What's one of your like favorite dishes that you would have over there?
My taste is quite simple. I like more how it says Eastern North dishes from China.
Okay.
Because I was living in the town that just one river away from the Chinese town, and we were going to China last 3 months for 2 or 3 days, having some fun, eating food and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was quite affordable for me to eat Chinese food. That's why I have very standard tastes for it. It's like I can name it in Chinese, but I don't know how to translate it into English. You know?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I need to do an experience like that, Alex. You know, send positive vibes my way. Hopefully, I get a chance to go do some traveling like that. I mean, that just sounds awesome, bro. I would definitely go to China for a year if I had an opportunity.
Yeah, man. You'll find a way for sure, man.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's up to me, huh?
Yeah. So we need to move further, and I have 2 last questions for you, man. What restaurant everyone should visit in your city? San Diego, as far as I know, right?
Ooh, yeah. There's this spot that's along the beach, and it's just a little Mexican restaurant, but they have this thing called the Trestle Burger, and it's in this area called Trestles where a lot of people surf, and they have the best burritos, bro. And they're gigantic burritos, like as big as your head, and it's pretty affordable. It's like $6 or $7, and they're known for they have like a bunch of stuff, whatever you want to get, they'll put in it. They'll put hot Cheetos in your burrito. They'll put avocado, bacon, whatever you want. They make any kind of burrito. So that's definitely the spot to check out. Trestle Burrito here in North County, San Diego.
While you are saying all of this, do you start to wanna eat?
Say it one more time.
Yeah, while you were saying this, just a desire emerged, and I want to taste it right now. And when you were saying, did you have the same feeling?
Yeah, man, come to California, bro. Have you ever been to this area or no?
What did you ask?
You should come.
Sorry.
I'm saying you should come visit, bro. Come to California.
Yeah.
Come check it out.
Yeah, once we've got a chance, we'll do it together with Mark for sure.
We got a road trip,
Where do you
my
live?
friend.
I know, dude. Mark, I've been trying to come to Australia for so long. It just looks like an amazing place.
Well,
He
once
will
all
show
this
you
madness
all the
passes,
spiders.
we'll have you here.
Awesome. Yeah, let's look forward to it. You got to host the Australian DeSo meetup. Seriously, you're the man for it.
No, I tell you, Sly, we'll make it happen. We just got to get past this craziness with travel restrictions and all these things. But I got a feeling things are smoother now. Things are coming to the surface now. So when that happens, Sly, we'll be organizing one of the biggest parties in the universe. But we just got to give a bit of time until we sort this out.
That's right.
So
That's
Sly,
right.
yeah, so Sly, I have the last question for you, man.
Okay.
Who would you wanna to have a dinner with in this restaurant that you've mentioned?
Anybody or like somebody from DeSo?
No, anybody from the world. Who would you
Dead or alive?
Live.
Alive. Okay.
I just want to point out that's a chess brain right there. Working out what's my parameters. Let's work a strategy here. It's
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it could have got nutty if it was dead. Alive people. Let me think. I don't know. Shoot, who would I want to talk to? Like have dinner with?
Yeah, be brave in your assumptions. Be brave in your desires.
All the people that I would really want to have dinner with are dead. Probably. I really can't think of anybody. I don't know. I would just say everybody that comes to mind. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm gonna say
the standard answer from the IT guy is Elon Musk. The standard answer from the crypto guy is Vitalik Buterin. The standard answer from I don't know, from the singer maybe Jay-Z.
You know, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the safe answer. I'm gonna say my wife. I'm looking forward to meeting my wife.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man, for your answers and for your patience in talking with me and having the gut to give me the whole answers that I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, bro. I was looking really forward to having this with you guys and talking with you. So you guys are about to do a new season here coming up, right? If I'm not wrong. Going into season 3 or something like that?
Yeah, but basically, the general evolution and just been kind of explained to Ken in the chat as well. The general evolution of Clout Forum has come from Alex basically having this vision for building community around creators and seeing what was here. And then we started teaming up and started doing the conference and interviews and things and the podcast. And so season 1 was really just, it was never even meant to be a season. It was meant to be a conference. And then it just grew into a season. And then the podcast developed. And then we kind of needed a break just to sort some stuff out. So that just then, let's just call it a season then. And so then since we've done season 1, we launched season 2 with a little more structure to it. We had a big celebration at the end of season 1. And so now season 3, what is it, Alex? I think we're finishing season 2 around the 10th of December. We'll have another celebration, invite all our guests, etc. So you'll be hearing about that, Sly. And then after Christmas, well, we got to confirm the date, but we've been talking about after Christmas, before New Year's, and that kind of gap there about launching season 3 into the new year. And then we will be a little more structured, a little bit more, certain days and times. And so we're going to play a little bit more. We're still working all those details out, as you know, like you said, like on that planet where one day is 1,000 or whatever it is. It's a bit like it is here. You can't think too far ahead. It's just, okay, let's just work with what we've got here. And so, yeah, so we're coming to the end of season 2 now.
And it doesn't help that there's new things popping up every day that, draw your interest.
Absolutely, man. You have to just adapt all the way. So, hey, Sly, just
Mark,
before we do close, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just wanted you guys to know that, you have my full support. Alex, you have my full support. Platform has my full support. You know, I'm rooting for you guys. I'm glad that you got that blue check on your account, but it's time to get that blue check on platform now. You guys have been doing it long enough. So anything that you guys do, even if it's not related to me or anything, tag me in it. I see that you guys started to do those the instructional videos that you talked about, and those I think you posted one yesterday that was kind of like it wasn't an interview, it was just like information, and I thought it was super cool, man. So just keep that up. Tag me in the comments or whatever. I'll hit it with the repost every time, bro, and try to help as much as I can.
Thank you so much,
man. You're a superstar.
It means a
I
lot.
really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, man. And this is what I love about DeSo. It's why I'm all in. It's why I got ink on the arm. That's why I got the number.
I forgot you got that, bro. Let's go.
You know, and that's why I did that. I did that before the bomb dropped, right? Before we released it to exchanges and off the thing, because I said it's not about the money. Like, this is about the vision this represents that bonds us all. And that's why I love seeing how we recreate it together.
I just wanted to mention one thing about your tattoo. It will be the awesome time when the BitClout will disappear. I mean, the node of BitClout, and will go to Diamond App or some other nodes, doesn't matter. And only those who are in BitClout will understand what these signs mean. And this will be like a very tight community, Illuminati community, who will know that.
The cloud on
absolutely right.
However you would say it. Illuminati.
I am sure there are going to be so many conspiracy stories in 10 years' time that are going to go around going, if you ever see that mark on their arm, they're the ones that run it.
They think you're diamond hands.
Yeah, I love this new world. It's like being in Alice in Wonderland. All right, my friends. Man. Now, before we close, I just want to do a shout out. Ken Stewart is with us. He's in the chat here and jumped in. He saw the post and been chatting a bit in there. Ken, you've been a great support to the platform. He's been pretty fresh to the platform and the rest. He's got a LLC called Every Child on Earth. So you can find Ken under @ECOE. Go check it out. He's really getting engaged and looking for people, working together and how he can develop the community further and stuff. And he's also put a post out about that video you just mentioned, Sly, trying to see how we could possibly do one where other people's affiliate links could be on it and the rest. And Ken, I totally get where you're coming from on that. Everyone, please go check that post out. Drop your feedback, because if there's a solution, I'd love to hear about it and willing to do whatever I can, but it's a trickier one. So with that said, thank you, Ken, for tuning in. Sly, I just really want to commend you, because thank you so much for coming on, but you are such a role model for coming onto this platform. Like you said, you didn't put any money in. You came on as a genuine human that has a massive following. That's you bootstrap this, right? And you demonstrated just by being on the platform and being yourself and doing what you love that you can make it, and you made it work. And you're verified. Your coin's doing great. You've got a great community. We all love you. And so if anyone's new and you're struggling on the platform, just see what this man has done. It's possible. And like you said yourself, it's up to you to do it.
That means a lot, Mark. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. We'll have to catch up more. But yeah, I definitely, this time that you've allocated for this was special to me, bro. So thanks for having me on.
Feelings mutual. And I look forward to it. I look forward to more actually in person, coming over in the States. We'll do a road trip, have some fun.
Yeah, it's bound
Until then, Sly.
And in retrospect, it was inevitable,
eh? And there's the mic drop. All right,
guys.
We'll see you at the end of the festival, end of the season party, Sly, and all the best with the release. Everyone, check out Sly mp3 on the platform. Make sure you follow his work, help get it out there, and we're all looking forward to seeing the name trading mechanism releasing, my man. So awesome! Thanks again for the time. Take care.
Cool. Everybody. Looking forward to the next episode, man. Peace.
Thank you, Sly. See you
later, guys.
Thank you.